Finance management, knowing your business with data, analytics, and be ready to react. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Amit Bajoria, who is an accomplished financial executive with over 20 plus years of experience in financial management, strategic planning, and corporate leadership. As the CFO of 𝗏𝗏, he plays a pivotal role in driving the company's financial success and ensuring sustainable growth. His expertise in financial analysis, risk management, and capital allocation has contributed significantly to the company's profitability and shareholder value. With this, please welcome Amit with a big round of applause.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me well? Good, good. So again, I'm not a technologist. I'm not at all product manager or a founder. I'm a pure finance guy in this profession for the last 20 years. So I'm going to share some of my experience again, not from the technology perspective, but how we have been leveraging technology within our organization. My intent is to share what we have done. So before I start, like I said, my name is Amit Bajoria. I'm the CFO of an IT company of close to $2 billion. We were listed in US a couple of years back, then we became private, and right now it is owned by a private equity. So that's the background. So I belong to an IT company. So yeah, some of the technology we leverage deploying to our customers, and we also look how do we leverage those technology deploying internally. And the topic which has been given to me to talk today is about data analytics. Means I'm sure we have beaten it to death. So nothing which I'm going to talk about it which you guys are not aware here, but at least what I'll share the perspective how we have leveraged data and analytics within 𝗏𝗏 to drive certain business decision and on a real time. See again, it's very, very important to look at data analytics. It's very easy to do a rear view analysis, and all finance guys, we are very, very capable and competent to do that. After the event has happened, we will go back and say, hey, this is what happened in the last month, this is what happened in the previous quarter, and this is my profitability. But yeah, those were we were supposed to do 5 years back, 10 years back. Now the expectation from the CFOs and the finance fraternity, hey, tell me what's going to happen. And so I can prepare better, plan better. And that's a journey which I will share what we have done internally within 𝗏𝗏. A lot of quotes. I'm not going to read these quotes. I'm sure you guys all have read these quotes, so it is not new, but it's important. It's important to kind of re-emphasize some of these quotes, like data is new oil. I'm sure we've been hearing, but I don't know how much of we are really practicing. And my favorite among this is, the goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. That's what, as a finance professional, we are supposed to do, right? You guys agree or you don't agree? After reading all of this, tell me how much of data in a company which we generate, we all generate a lot of data, how much we utilize, how much we analyze? Any guess on an average? 45, 40%. Any other guesses? We are not that bad also. But yes, we analyze today 35 to 40%. That's all. That's the data which get generated within the company on an average, get utilized, analyzed, presented, and leveraged. And another fact, which again we all know, it says if you analyze the data or use any big data solution, it doesn't matter about which technology, which platform, nothing matters. But if you analyze data, on an average, your net profit will be higher by 8%. These are the proven facts. It's not I'm generating, but this is what are the proven facts. Knowing all these facts, we still only analyze 35 to 40% of the data. So let me give some bit more color how the data analytics has evolved over years. Again, I'm not going to bore you with a lot of this. I'm sure all of you know. This was the era of 1960s to 80s, right? It was all about decision support system. What does it mean? The CEO has a data, the CFO has a data, and maybe the next two guys. It was given to executives. It was not beyond the executive. As we moved ahead in 1990, we moved from a centralized data warehouse where we said, hey, instead of distributed data models, let's create a centralized data. Then the data can be accessible to all. That was the intent in the 90s. As we moved to 2000, the next evolution was, how do we leverage this data warehouse to kind of build some of this ERPs, the CRM, HRM. That was the 2000 era where we implemented Oracle or SAPs, and that was the 2000. As we moved to 2005 and 10, we started using balance scorecard, KPIs, using some of the CRMs in the system. Move to 2010, we said, hey, let's build self-service BIs, which is based on cloud, which is based on mobile solutions. That was, and what is the next generation? What will be 2020 plus? Any guesses? I'm sure that will not be a guess. What will be 20 plus if you have to take this forward as a slide? Yeah. AI was always there, Gen AI. That's what is the new buzzword, right? ChatGPT. Again, I'm not going to talk about ChatGPT. I'm sure you guys had an overdose of ChatGPT over the last few months, few quarters, but that's what is. I don't know where it will evolve. Obviously, it will evolve. So I'm not going to talk about all of those, but this is just to give you a sense how data analytics has evolved over the last 30, 40 years. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but to give you a high level, what are the challenges? See, everyone wants to implement. If I'm in this room, if I look at the finance colleagues and professional, everyone wants to implement this. I would be surprised if someone says, hey, I don't want to implement in my organization. I'm very happy without the data analytics. But why we are not able to implement? There are challenges. Let's be honest about it. The challenges are, hey, do I have a ready infrastructure? Sometimes many people come and say, you belong to an IT company. It's very easy for you guys to all say all this because your internal team will implement. I can tell you honestly, my internal teams are very happy to bill to the client because I generate much higher revenue by billing them. So for us, like we say, right, 𝗙𝗵𝗁𝗏 𝗙𝗶𝗁𝗏. So we are not their priorities. We are absolutely not their priorities. So that challenge continues. Look at analytical tools. You will talk about so many platforms, so many tools. Again, those are not important. Those are the challenges. Is important is, do we have an intent? Is that there is a leadership commitment? Is there is a organization which is going through a change management saying, hey, we have to start implementing technology or a data. And data can be Excel, guys. Again, don't get confused. Can you have enough and more KPIs built in Excel? And there are some of the colleagues which I can see here, Sandeep, which is sitting here. He used to work in Wipro. When we started our MIS in Wipro, it was Excel based, but it can be a lot of analytics and data which is in Excel. So Excel is a great analytical tool. Without Excel, I don't think any finance professional will survive. So yeah, all ChatGPTs, all are great, but finally Excel is the life for all of us, right? So don't start thinking when you talk about analytics or tools, don't start thinking ChatGPT. Yeah, we all should go there, but there are a lot of things to be done, So start thinking, hey, how do I start the journey? And I'll spend some time within Virtusa what we have done. So let me switch from here to what we have done within Virtusa. So first, we said, hey, what are the guiding principles? That's very, very important. As you start any journey, it's important to say what is the guiding principle, and don't get lost with a lot of words and things, but I'll give you the intent. The first thing we said, hey, we have to start thinking data on a real-time basis, and it will help me to plan for future and not for the past. Past is always there. That is our job. We are paid for it. We are paid to produce an MIS. We are paid to produce books of account. We are paid to produce our financial result. But how can we go and start producing a real-time dashboard which will help business to drive decision? So that was one guiding principle we said. We will continue to do what we are doing, but how do we move to the next journey? Then this is very, very important. Democratization of data. Till now, you tell me your MIS goes to who all? Most of the cases I can see your MIS will go to the management team, the CEO, chairman, maybe business head, not beyond. As a finance fraternity, as a CFO community, we always send MIS top, not to the lowest guy who's actually making a decision. In finance, in an IT industry where I belong, project manager is the guy who's driving my profitability of the company, because that is my unit economics. At that level, if he's not able to drive right decision, he's not able to drive profitability, everyone can look at the data, but they are not the decision maker. That stakeholder for me is a project manager. So how do you ensure you make the data, you make the analytics available to him? That is a democratization of data. So in your organization, find out the guy who's making a decision based on your data, and data should be reaching to him. He should be able to see some of this data on a real-time basis, and not upwards. Upward is, again, we have to keep our job, so we have to send them MIS. But the data has to be at a level who's making the decision. Next, again, this is very specific to Virtusa. Engineering first, that's the way we look at it. Whenever we build something, we say, hey, how do I scale it up? As we become from 2 billion to 5 billion, can this be scaled? Can I make it a speed? Can I Can I operate when today we operate in 25 countries? If I go to 50 countries, can that be scaled up? So you look at the solution from that perspective. Ubiquity, what does it mean? Any decision you take, the data cannot be only restricted to finance function. That's all it matters. It should be to your HR function, it should be to your legal function, it should be to your delivery function, it should be to your operation function. So many times when, as a finance guys, we implement certain solution, we only think about finance, but that will not help you to reach the journey of data analytics. You have to see and ensure that all the functions are covered, all the functions in the chain. Very, very important. When you work with the global clients, and now with the India GDPR equivalent to European GDPR, which is the Data Privacy Act coming in India, how do you ensure the data privacy and data security? Very, very important. Means this is a big one. It can lead to your reputational loss. And how do you ensure that? How do you get the comfort to the people, to everyone? Hey, whatever data we are generating, and like again, I say in IT industry, all data we have is employee data. And we have people working from European and US. It's very, very important to ensure that the data is secure for them. And the last is a data-driven culture. Means any decision you take, you don't take based on the guts. You say, hey, show me the fact, show me the data, show me what was the past trend, show me how the last 12 months look like. Tell me at the same point of time last year what happened. Before that, what happened? Is there a seasonality to the data? Is there a pattern to the data? Don't go by the gut, because many times we all feel, hey, we know enough. We have been in this business for the last 10 years. I know it. Don't worry about it. I am telling you, do it, do it. No, please ask. Show me the data. And as a finance guy, we can help this to try, because we have all the data and patterns and say, hey, not what you're saying maybe is right, but the data does not reflect the same. So it's become very, very important that how we make it a data-driven organization, data-driven culture. So let me give you certain what we do in 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 or where we have implemented in 𝗏𝗏𝗃. Again, my intent is not to bore you. I'm sure all of you guys would have implemented many of this in your organization, but I'll give you some color what we have done. If you look, demand analytics. Many times as a finance guy, we say, hey, that's not my code. That's a sales guy to look at it. But I can tell you, based on analyzing your data, you will be able to predict how the year revenue will look like. So what we started exercise, we started saying, hey, at the beginning of the year, I know what is the contract or order book we already have and what revenue it will generate. What we call that in internally 𝗏𝗏𝗃 soft backlog. So that is, if suppose 100 was my plan and my soft backlog is 70. Now you start analyzing your pipeline to say whether the 30 gap can be filled by existing pipeline. I'm certain it cannot be. Then you look at, hey, what needs to be done? What kind of a pipeline quality I need? What kind of hygiene I need? Which segment I need? Which account I need? Which quarter I need? All of this data can predict today. And this is where your AI comes in play, ML comes in play, all of these technologies comes in play. But first you have to identify the problem statement, identify what you want to achieve, and then you start thinking technology. So this is one area where we are now able to give on a weekly basis to our business, saying, hey, based on your current order book, based on the current pipeline, how your quarter will look like, how your year will look like. And if you want to make a year different and a quarter different, then this is the pipeline injection you need to drive. This is the nature of the pipeline you need to drive. It has to be of certain degree, certain value. All of this today we are able to predict. Is it 100% accurate? I don't think. I'll be very, very honest. But directionally, does it give a business to drive behavior? Yes. And that's where the big difference we can bring on the table. Skill analytics, again, very, very critical for IT industry. End of the day, if you look, I don't want to call them, but it's inventory. Our inventory is people. And the people are breathing, they are moving. They are in different geographies, different countries. I can't look at standardized inventory. I can't say if inventory is available in Chennai. If a project requirement is in Hyderabad, the same inventory can be used. So how do you analyze your skill requirement based on what I talked about, pipeline, which is predictive, what kind of a demand which is coming in, what kind of a bench I have, what kind of bench which is going to come, and which city the bench is, what kind of aging the bench is, and based on that, what hiring I need to start. Because end of the day, again, we have to appreciate the lead time for me to get inventory is 90 days in India, because most of the organization has a notice period of 60 to 90 days. Even if I raise a request today, by the time the guy joins, it's only 90 days away. So how do we plan? And that's where the data comes in. So we analyze the employee skill in terms of the region, in terms of the aging, in terms of the project, in terms of the segment, in terms of the visa requirement. If there is a requirement in the UK, I need to plan much in advance because I need to raise a visa for him. So those are the other areas. Again, I think the bell has rung. I'll not spend more time. Pricing strategy, what we call intelligent pricing. How do you ensure you have implemented, and here we have implemented CPQ.2, which is a Salesforce product, which kind of give you insight about benchmarking your pricing with your peer group, global group. It benchmarks your different skill category. It benchmark the pricing within the segment, saying in a banking client, is this the right price to do? Or in a retail client, this is the right price to do? Because pricing change, again, there is a capability of a retail client to pay can be higher or lower, or banking can be higher and lower. Geographical pattern will be different. The price point which you can demand in US will be very different the price point which you can demand in a Singapore deal. So how do you do the intelligent pricing when you are looking for a new deals? I'm not going to spend time, but every area, guys, the intent is to kind of give you flavor. If you pick any area today, data and analytics can be helpful for you to drive decisions, drive business, and you can become more predictive, more future looking rather than rear looking. That's the intent. And I'll be happy to give some more example when we talk offline, but with the paucity of time, I'll move. Again, this is another area, this is very core to finance, how we leverage data analytics in managing financial risk, in mitigating financial risk. And the risk can be related to liquidity, risk can be related to credit risk management. Just to give an example of how do we look at credit risk management through data analytics, we have top 30 accounts which contribute to 60% of our revenue. We have a monthly dashboard which we look at all the ratios of those companies. We do a web crawling to look if there is red flag. We look at certain rating agencies. So a lot of data comes together in a clear sheet to say, hey, is any early warning signal from any of my top 30 accounts or top 50 accounts, which as a CFO I need to be aware, because based on that I can look at my payment terms, I can look at my outstanding and see if there's a red flag. If there's a red flag, I'm not waiting for the red flag to happen. I know the red flag is going to happen in 6 months or 3 months, and I can tell my business guys, hey, we have to move to a different payment term, or be watchful, or can we do advanced billing with this client? So those where your data analytics kind of comes very handy. I've spoken about all of this. I'll skip. Again, don't read into it. Just to give you a flavor, what is important when you get into your journey, look at what are your different systems across your various value stream, whether it's a procure to pay, whether it's your opportunity to contract, whether it's your R2R, H2R, because why that is important, those are your data collection points. End of the day, you will create a data platform, which is on the lower end of the chart. And with your data collection point across, you need to ensure the data comes to your single platform where we call it a data lake. That becomes a single source of truth. And then you leverage the data lake to drive all the analytics which I talked about. So this is very, very important. This is a journey, and again, you do not have to mature to this level at day one, but you need to decide, hey, how I'm creating my data platform, which are my data collection point, and how I'm going to manage my data. Because this is very, very important as you embark on this journey. Again, this is my last slide. This is the summary, what we feel within Virtusa, where we are in terms of ERP implementation. I think we are fairly there. We have implemented Oracle Financial, Fusion, SFDC, CPQ, all I spoke about. Obviously, there's always a room for improvement. Data visualization, data platform, data management, we leverage Power BI, Microsoft BI, and a lot of other analytics tools. RPA, again, you heard from Vidya madam and also from the 842 team. Again, we are in the journey. I don't think we have evolved to there, but yes, we are pretty much there. And the last, which is more generative AI and all, which is evolving. And I think that's the next couple of years where we will also see how we adopt the technology to make it much more robust. So thanks, team. That was all from my side. Thanks for your time.